Kom here with Studio Sweat On Demand, and I am here with Miriam Gerari, registered dietitian and amazing person.
Go on.
I will.
Okay.
Today we're here to talk about carbs. It's a hot topic, always will be, always has been.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, Miriam, that one of the reasons that I wanted you to cover this subject with our people is that my son Quinn asked me very recently, like,
hey Quinn.
Well, first of all, he asked me if I'm trying to gain muscle mass, should I eat? What if I have to pick between a chicken breast or 2 cups of brown rice? And I was like, don't, but you both. Like, yeah. So there's that. But then we started getting into this conversation about which carbs he should eat and which carbs everybody should eat and why. So that is what I would like to cover today with you.
Yes. So I understand that, you know, with chemistry, you're thinking, oh, well, my starchy vegetables or my fruit, my banana is equal to my cookie or a piece of bread.
Gram for gram, maybe.
Yes, right. So you're right. Like, your body does break things down in very simple forms because it has to use it, right? So and it needs glucose to run. So that's what it's going to do. So
which glucose is in carbs.
Yes, glucose is
I'm going to play the role of add in the dumb things like you, but
no,
they're important.
Yes, I forget to mention that. Thank you so much. So it's true, like if you ate a banana and it's like, oh, cool, like 15 grams of carbs, and then say, I don't know, the brown rice or whatever, or any rice, they're a half a cup, 15 grams, you're like, oh, well, should I choose the banana or the rice or the cookie? So I hear this often, like that's why I hear a lot of people stay away from fruit. And I keep hearing about bananas in particular. It's not equal nutrient-wise, and it's not equal with glycemic index. So usually you're eating, say, the piece of fruit whole, I'm hoping. So there's the fiber in it, and there's the pectin in it. It lowers the glycemic load, meaning like your insulin response to the sugar, because it has those other components in it. Same thing, say, with the brown rice. Like, it has other components in it. So you can't look at just like an isolated compound.
Yes,
you really
exactly.
can't. So
that's what I was trying to
So the tunnel vision is not super working when we talk about carbohydrates.
So can I ask a specific question?
Yes.
Rice. What's the difference between white and brown? And I don't just mean color. I mean, what's the difference as far as your body processing it? Which is better? Is white rice bad?
So I don't like to say any food is bad, right? Because then it goes into a whole moral thing, and you're going to want the immoral food more, right? The intuitive eating principles. So what we're talking about is a whole intact grain versus a grain that's been refined. So
white has been refined.
White, most of the time, unless it's like jasmine.
He specifically asked about jasmine.
Okay. It's going to be less fibrous, but it really hasn't been refined so much. So that's the difference. There's some rice differences, but if we look at white,
what is the benefit of
the intact?
The intact versus the refined.
So it has the bran, it has the endosperm. So if you look at the rice kernel, those components actually have a good amount of protein and fiber in them, and some nice nutrients that we don't even think about.
What does protein and fiber do for you?
Well, so if you think about the digestion process, an hour for carbs, within an hour, sometimes it's minutes for some carbs, like candy, right? And then you go to protein, it's 3 to 4 hours of digestion. And then with fat, it's 5 to 6. So if you're adding in the protein and a fiber, which majorly slows down absorption too, it's not going to have the same insulin and glucose response.
Yeah, so you're not going to see those blood pressure swings as much.
Blood sugar, yes.
And then it is going to scrub your belly, scrub your gut, right?
Yes, it's very cleansing. So like it's literally a scrubber inside of like your intestines, and it picks up the carcinogens, which is free radicals that could be forming, God forbid, cancer.
So focusing on those good things that things like that do that you might not get in a more simple carb, such as
Like even if you think about, just like bread or
Pizza dough,
cereal
yeah.
or dough, any kind of grain.
So those are simple grains. So the difference between let's talk about that, the difference between simple and complex.
Yeah, so when you talk about a simple carbohydrate and a complex, the complex is going to have more of those compounds that slower the digestion. That's really like essentially what we're talking about.
Okay.
So the chains are a little more complicated, like literally. Like you've heard monosaccharide and disaccharide, like from chemistry back in the day, mono 1, di 2.
Yeah.
So the more chains it has, the slower it's to break it down. Think about it, like
your body has to work harder. So
it has to work harder.
Yeah. So for those of you that are looking for weight loss, or you do need that,
just to feel fuller longer. That's nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Feel fuller longer. So I mean, we've just talked about so many things that really.
Yeah.
Get you thinking about what kind of carbs you should eat. So give an example one more time just to make sure it's very clear. Tell me some complex or more fibrous carbs examples, like actual food examples, and then same for simple.
Yeah, so one of my go-tos I'm like pasta queen. I love me some whole wheat pasta. I even get some lentil pasta, which is actually not considered a grain, it's a bean, but they make pasta out of it.
Is that what you made for me that one night?
Yes.
Okay, that was so good.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe you could add that recipe here.
Like chickpea pasta lately, you guys, there's so many on the market that you're gonna eat up, and you feel really full. Instantly you're gonna be like, oh my God, I ate too much. But then an hour later you're like,
I feel good.
I feel good. Yeah. It's just all the bulk.
Okay,
Fiber adds bulk. So that's an example. Well, you even mentioned pizza dough. So like Trader Joe's has this whole wheat pizza dough.
Okay.
Even like,
so if it's got whole wheat.
Whole grain. So it doesn't matter what flour it is. It could be kamut, spelt, like whatever grain it is. If you see whole in front of it, that means it's intact. I mentioned the endosperm and the bran. You want that. You want it to not be touched. You want it close to its original state.
So when they turn that package over and they're reading the label, the first word you want to see is whole.
Whole.
Okay.
Whole,
so
blah, blah, blah.
And if it says enriched with an E, that means it's
It means basically they've refined the grain and then they've put like artificially added nutrients back in because America's like low in these nutrients. So it's kind of like a government push to enrich or fortify. But it's a cheaper product, and honestly, it goes like whole grain, enriched, unbleached flour, then it's bleached flour. It's like in order of like best to
least
worst.
best.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Least best.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to add to this topic that you think will help people understand this pretty complicated subject?
I know, it's super complicated.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. I just want you to not have fear over like these natural foods like starchy vegetables and fruits. Like just think of them in the whole compound way. That's kind of the takeaway.
Yeah, and then
but grain-wise, you need to be discerning.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I mean, really think about what nutrients things provide versus just looking at how many carbs are in them.
carbs.
What other things might they provide? What other things might a banana provide for you? Potassium.
Yeah.
But it's not the highest in potassium. Everyone thinks that bananas are the highest in potassium.
It's not.
But you can Google this and you're going to find that white beans.
Oh yeah.
Mushrooms.
Yeah. Ooh.
There's some other ones that are higher in potassium than bananas.
Kiwi, potato.
Yeah. It is in the top 10, but it's like number 10.
Yeah. So vary your foods, y'all.
Yeah. So just be thinking about other benefits that certain foods have on you, and more likely than not, Twinkie is not going to be on that list. So sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank
you
for Halloween.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, you guys, for those body sculpting, fat torching workouts, visit us at Studio Sweat on demand.